What up, Not Move Podcast? It's JB Sport Talk. I'm here with Detroit's finest.
Abdo.
We're gonna break down a little bit of Detroit Lions. What's going on, my guy? What's going on?
We chilling, man. Trying to enjoy the day. How you doing, man?
I'm doing, bro. Just enjoying that football's back. I'm ready.
I was trying to until Michigan and Detroit lost in the same week, and then it kind of hit me and made the realization I hadn't seen that in a while. But
Yeah.
yeah, man. But Detroit, man, a tough loss in week 1 to Green Bay. We're obviously seeing the glaring holes on the offensive line with Ragnow leaving and him being the anchor, and then the defense. It looks no better than it has in 2 years.
Yeah.
You got edges dropping back into coverage, and it's asinine. It doesn't make sense. And no, I mean that's what happens when you when you fail to put players in positions that you need them. You get belted by your division rival,
Yep.
and it's just an unfortunate fact of where we are. And I'm looking at Detroit right now, and I'm like, you had all this salary cap, all of these rushers on the market. You've struggled in pass rush for 3 years. And you thought it best to re-sign Marcus Davenport, a guy who has not been healthy in 3 seasons. So I don't know the trajectory of Detroit. I mean, the offense has all the talent there, but it's new play calling. So this could be
Yep.
a very rough season for the Lions, especially with the schedule.
And not just on your offense, but your defense as well. I mean, you guys lost your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, so
Mhm.
everything's kind of, in
Right.
disarray over there. I mean, Goff, he's got some growing pains with, new play caller John Morton, but, Rain remains optimistic. I mean, not saying that he can't put it together, I mean, they went just 1 for 4 in the red zone efficiency, a major drop off from last year. It was 69.4% touchdown rate,
Mhm. Right.
but I mean, it is week 1. It is only one game. Like,
And we can double that. Last season, a lot of people tend to forget that last season, we went up against the Rams, Tampa Bay in the first 2 weeks. And remember, we started 1-1. We went against Tampa Bay, and I believe we were 1 for 5 in the red zone in that game.
yep.
Drove the ball, could not score. I mean, that's when Hutch had his mega 5 sack game. Still ended up coming up short in that game. But it's the beginning of the NFL season, right? And we watch teams struggle that we didn't think would. You watched
Hmm.
the Denver Broncos; they had an issue with the
Hmm.
Titans. The Jets gave the Steelers defense all they could handle with
Hmm.
Justin Fields being over there. So there's growing pains. I just feel like with Detroit, it's more of a not putting talent where you need it. We've needed another edge rusher. We needed to solidify possibly another linebacker with the fact that Campbell, Malcolm, and Anzalone have all been hurt. Um, and instead of putting this money into shoring up the defense, which has been an issue, we paid Jamison Williams $83 million. And no, I'm
Right.
not discrediting JMO. I think he has all the potential in the world. He's got a high ceiling. But for me, I can compare it to Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp, after his first 3 years, got an $80 million contract. Cooper Kupp also had 2,500 yards and 21 touchdowns. JMO has 1,400 yards and 9 total touchdowns, and he made $3 million more than that. He's had 1 season of productivity where he didn't, where he couldn't stay healthy and couldn't stay out of trouble with the gambling and the suspensions, and it just really makes me question Brad Holmes onto what your strategy is, because you're not building the defense, and we have a Super Bowl caliber team offensively already. So
Right.
it's just a weird organization, and it's the Lions. We've always done stuff like this, and I'm hoping the momentum continues up where it's been the last couple of years. But this year feels a little iffy. It feels a little iffy to me.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that there's some differences going on from last year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, coaching definitely it plays a big factor. Um, I mean, you guys did, on the bright side though, you guys' rookie wide receiver, Tesla, he made a stunning one-handed touchdown grab in the
I
final
know.
minute.
Odell
You know,
Beckham Jr. He had an Odell Beckham Jr. catch for a touchdown on his very first reception in the NFL. Shout out to that young man. Welcome to the NFL. I hope
I'm
he does big
saying,
things.
I'm saying, yeah, I I think there's a bright future for that guy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. And again, I'll never hate on the offensive drafting skill that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have shown. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra, J-Mo. Now you got Tesla coming out, Penei Sewell,
Yep.
Sam Laporta. I mean, he's done nothing but find gems offensively, but then you look defensively, and a lot of Dan Campbell fans and Brad Holmes fans and Kool-Aid drinkers want to say he doesn't miss in the draft. Well, what about James Houston? What about Romeo Okora, Julian Okora? What about the cat we traded up to get just a couple seasons ago, Broderick Martin? We've missed quite a bit defensively. Now, yes, we got Brian Branch, and we did go out and get Aiden Hutchinson, but those are the only two that have truly proven themselves as all around top tier defensive players.
Right.
Aleem McNeil is solid, but he can't stay healthy. Same with Jack Campbell and Alex Anzalone. And by the way, it's looking with Alex Anzalone, we might not have him next year because he's fighting for a contract, and he's already put some things on Twitter and put some things out there in interviews that he wants to get paid, and if he doesn't get paid, he loves Detroit, but he'll look elsewhere. And I don't blame him for it because he's a damn good linebacker.
Yep. So with that being said, with you guys losing, your defensive coordinator, and then your linebacker issues right there. How do you guys see this? You guys see this as something you guys can turn around fairly quick? I know they try to keep everything else pretty much as similar as they could, but I mean, both sides. I mean, that is a big change. I mean, I know last year you guys dealt with 22 people being on the IR. I mean, that's a big deal, but now we're dealing with coaching, and the loss of players.
Right.
How do you see this affecting, or you guys see this as a possibility of you being able to, as a Lions being able to turn this around and into the trajectory that you guys were headed into last year?
I don't think it will turn around this year. I think these growing pains are going to show this year. And the only reason I say I don't know that it turns around 100% is because you're going into this season with one of the hardest schedules in the NFL.
Yep.
You're going on the road to Philly. You had to play in Green Bay already. You got to play the Rams. You got to play Washington again. I'm pretty sure we play the Chiefs and the Ravens. We play the Ravens in week 3 at their house. We play the Bengals. We have a lot of teams that have top tier offenses that are probably going to slice this defense up. And a lot of teams, those same teams have top tier defenses. You're talking about the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Packers defense looks damn good. Chicago's defense looks amazing. The offense just doesn't look like it's quite there yet. So for me, looking at this season with new coordinators, not making any big positional changes, knowing that the defensive line is weak and the DB room is not phenomenal outside of Branch and Kirby, this could be anywhere from an 8-9 to a 10-7 season. You might be on the outside looking in if you're the Detroit Lions for playoffs this year, and rightly so. When you let guys walk that have actually come in and made a difference, aka Zadarius Smith last year, second most sacks on the team, and he only played half a season with us. And you let him walk, and he signs with a championship contending team like Philly for $9 million. And you say, well, we didn't want to pay that much, but you had the third most salary space, and you just paid J-Mo $83 million. So you could have paid Zadarius to stick around, and it would have shored up this defensive line even better. So I don't necessarily think it turns around this year. I could see this team going 8-9, but I will say that if that is the case, I hope that it wakes up Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes and makes them realize, okay, we have to fortify the defense because they've missed out on it year after year after year. We could have had Jalen Carter. We didn't want him. I don't understand that at all, but we did not go and take him. Last year, all the edge rushers we had in the draft.
Perfect attitude for Detroit's defense.
We need something, man. The defensive line, I don't care how good your run defense is. Your run defense can finish second in the NFL, but when your total defense is still bottom 25, there's a problem. There's a problem. When your pressure rate outside of Hutchinson is dead last, your sack rate outside of Hutchinson is dead last, there's an issue. You can't just rely on one player. And that's why Aiden Hutchinson broke his leg last year, because it's the only player they were relying on. So I don't know, man. Detroit is it's a catch-22 right now. If the offense fires back up, I do believe the team can be a 10-11 win team contending. But with what I'm seeing right now, with a vanilla playbook that I've seen on offense with check down, screen pass, Jahmyr Gibbs having 10 plus catches and only having like 25 rushing yards, you're not winning games like that.
No.
You're not winning games like that.
With that comment that you just made about that, where they went going up and fortifying the defense and saying that they couldn't afford oh boy, but yet they went ahead and signed JMO an extra extension. Does that remind you of old school Detroit days where they Roy E. Williams, they went, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
They didn't have no money, not
overpaying.
wanting to spend over here, but want to overpay on skill positions, but yet to have no other skill on the fucking field.
I won't listen, man. As bad as I wanted to say same old Lions on Sunday, I'm not going to say it. I can't bring myself to say it because we went 15-2 last year. But I'm going to say this. The trajectory from where I'm looking with the JMO signing made me look back at Danny Amendola.
Yeah.
Right? And Trey Flowers when Matt Patricia was running the team and wanted to make the Patriots 2.0. You were overpaying these guys by like $5 million because they were something in the New England Patriots system that they were never going to be in Detroit because we weren't built like a Super Bowl caliber New England Patriots team with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick leading the charge. And that's what I'm scared of. I'm scared of overpaying all of these players and not really solidifying the pieces that we need. And the thing that scares me the most is Brad Holmes is afraid to pull the trigger on trades. And if you look at the last 5 years, the last 10 years, these teams that have been winning Super Bowls, they do good drafting, but they have won through trading. You have the Eagles, they went out and got Saquon, AJ. You have the Rams who went out and got Stafford and it had, re-sign Donald and I can't remember the DB, Jalen Ramsey. Yep. The Chiefs every single year they'll make big trades in the middle of the season. You guys did it for wide receivers, went on a Super Bowl run. All of these teams that are winning Super Bowls, hell, I didn't even mention Tampa Bay. All of these teams that are winning Super Bowls are making big moves in free agency because they're like, you know what? We see a problem. We're going to fix the problem. Detroit's like, we're content with the team. And that's exactly what Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell said. Their exact words were, this is the best team we feel like we've ever had. Where do you feel that way? Yeah. I don't feel that way.
Yeah. So next week, you guys line up against the Bears. We all know how that just went down just a couple nights ago for the Bears.
Shout out JJ McCarthy, the Michigan man. I got nothing but love for that guy. Had a great fourth quarter.
Yeah, he did. He did. You guys, the Lions are a 5.5-point favorite versus the Bears in week 2. You guys got a chance to bounce back at home. You see it as a possibility. I mean, I know any given Sunday, right? But what realistically, not just fandom, but I mean, do you see this as your guys' chance to bounce back? And is this where you think you will?
Well, I'll put it like this. I do think the Bears have an exceptional roster. I've preached it all off season. Whether you look at the defense, the offensive line, the receiving core, they're top 10 across the board on paper, right? Like, especially defensively. But I feel like they've got a top 10 receiving core. I feel like they have a top 10 offensive line this year with bringing in 2 All-Pros. And the defense, we already seen what it was last year. It was phenomenal. But this is a revenge game for Detroit, I feel like, with Mr. Snake leaving us and going to Chicago, Ben Johnson. That's a joke, by the way, man. No hatred towards Ben Johnson. You know what? That's what you're there for. It sucks not having him, but I respect the man. He went and got himself a head coaching job. No hatred for him. But I feel like if there's one offense that Detroit is very familiar with that they can line up defensively against, it's probably a Ben Johnson scheme, right? Because that's been their offense. That's been their training camp and practice for the last few years. I do think that offensively will open up a little better against Chicago, but I think it's going to be a 2 or 3 point game. I wouldn't even feel comfortable saying 5.5. I think that might be a 23-20 type game. either way.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we still got you know, more than 12 hours to go, you know, more than a day to the line's probably gonna adjust.
Right.
I might assume quite a bit from here to there. So yeah, you're probably
Right.
right on that.
It's a game that I'm confident that Detroit can win. I do feel like the talent level for Chicago and Detroit, I feel like Detroit is still the more talented team at this point. But I'm not going to discredit Chicago. Chicago can come in Detroit and absolutely win that game. And keep in mind, the last few years, you know, we swept the division last year. The year prior, we went 4-2, and the year prior to that, I believe we went 5-1. Justin Fields was able to beat us once. But if I'm not mistaken, under Dan Campbell's era, the Chicago Bears actually have the most wins in the division against Detroit. And every game we've played them, they've played us close. You look at last year, it was bad time management. They were going down the field and with like 2 minutes to go and just did not call timeouts. And I think Chicago outright should have won that game. The year before last, you know, they handed us a loss. It was our one conference loss. And the first time we played them, remember, they were up by 10 points with like 4 minutes and threw the game away. Chicago has always played Detroit close. They really should have swept us last year or the year before last and split with us last year. But you know, luckily we escaped with both wins last year and a win the year before. So Chicago absolutely can beat Detroit. I have a hard time seeing Detroit starting out 0-2. I think they're going to go in there and throw everything out on the field that they have to ensure that they don't start 0-2. Because after that, who do you have? The Ravens.
Right. Yep.
You go against the Ravens 0-2, you come out 0-3. Guess what? You're not going to the playoffs, period. Not happening. So I think the Lions win the game. I think it will be a low-scoring, close game. And I really, really would like to see Caleb Williams holds on to the ball for a long time sometimes. We know that. I want to see a few sacks in this game. I don't know if you know this, but like we didn't get a sack on Jordan Love. We actually didn't even get close to him, obviously, in week 1. Go back to last year in the playoffs. We didn't get to Jaden Daniels. We weren't able to get to Josh Allen. We didn't get to Brock Purdy. We didn't get to not Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry. Jordan Love. You know, we don't get to the quarterback. And I want to see this team get to the quarterback. If I can see this defensive line get to the quarterback, I have a little more faith going forward.
Yeah.
But if this is another game where there's 0 sacks, Lamar might go for 400 on us. Again, I'm just going to be real. Because if you can't get to Caleb Williams and Jordan Love, you damn sure aren't getting to Lamar Jackson.
Right. No, yeah. No, we seen him the other night, dude. Houdini out there, dude.
Dude, he's a magician. He really is. He gets a lot of hate, but Lamar is a damn good quarterback. And shout out Derrick Henry, too. That man, that fumble hurts, but that performance, man, he looked like he's 22 years old again.
Dude,
everybody.
Doing 100 yards in a quarter. Just absolutely insane.
Derrick Henry's a monster, man. I've already got him. I've got him. By the time he's done, I'm gonna say he's gonna be a top 5 running back of all time. I already think he's a top 10.
Perfect. Yeah, he's definitely up there. He's definitely up there. Definitely.
Yeah, he's a unit, man.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Detroit, I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Good having sit down with you.
Well, we're gonna bolt on out of here, man. I want to say shout out to Not Moved. And speaking of Not Moved, Brad, what you're doing in Detroit right now, I'm not moved by it. Go pick up an edge rusher, man. We need one. I'll holler at y'all later. Be good.
Not moved out. Fire.